Hi, my name is Oscar and I'm a scientist. Welcome to my channel, Oscar's Green Card. Today we're going to talk about Form ETA-9089 that you need for your EB2 NIW Green Card petition. As you know, in this channel we talk about Green Card categories in which you can self-petition. That means that you don't need to have a job offer, a company sponsoring you, and you don't even need to have a lawyer if you don't want to. So let's move to my other screen and start talking about today's topic, and that's ETA 9089. There's a new version of this form that was released by the Department of State. I have an original video with all the basics about this form, and I'll leave a link right here. You will be able to access it easily. And in today's video, we're going to do a quick recap on the basics that I was explaining in that older video. And I'm going to show you what's new with the new version of the form and what version you should use right now. To be honest, I didn't plan to do this video until USCIS released some guidance. We don't have that guidance yet, and a lot of people have been asking me, Oscar, what version do I need to file? I've had emails, I've had Instagram messages, comments on the sections in this channel, in this YouTube channel. So I decided to go ahead and make a video now, and then later, once the situation is a little bit more stable, once we have all the information, I'll release another video. But today, I'll let you know where we stand right now. So a quick recap. Do we need this form? This form, ETA 9089, is the labor certification form. So do we need it even if our category is called EB2 NIW National Interest Waiver and we are asking for a waiver of the labor certification? The answer is yes, we need to include it. You should include it. If you don't include it, most likely you're going to get a request for evidence. I have a video talking about request for evidence if you want to learn more about that. Or you're going to get a rejection, which is different from a denial. A rejection is they send all the petition back to you and they don't cash your check. Okay, like I said, this is confusing because in NIW we're literally asking them to waive the labor certification, but we do need to send this form. However, we will send it to the USCIS and not the Department of Labor, okay? In the next slide, I'll show you a little bit more about this, but this is important. In the NIW process, you need to attach ETA 9089 in the package. In the I-140 package, you will include that form. I have a video about the I-140 package and all the documents that you need to include that you can go and watch. And of course, I really encourage you to enroll in my EB2 NIW course to get step-by-step information like what I'm telling you today in this video. And I update that course as news come out, as new versions of the forms come out, I will update that content. And this is where you can get to it, eb2niw.info, and you will access the online course. There's a button right there on top. If you are interested on this higher standard category EB1, I have a website for that, eb1greencard.info, and I have also now an online course for that as well. I believe these two courses are the best resources out there and definitely the best priced resources out there in a world where things are getting more and more expensive, particularly in immigration. I think you can get a lot of value in these websites. But let's continue. This is an overall an overview of the NIW process. In regular green card processes, companies start with what is called a PERM or a labor certification. That takes about a year if things go well, and they need to go the labor certification. They need to show a bunch of things, and they need to get an approval for the labor certification that is done through that form that we are talking about today. But for EB2 NIW and for EB1A, there's no need for this PERM process, and we are saving a lot of time, and we are saving having to have a sponsor. So we start right here. If we are either abroad or in the US, we start with an I-140 petition. Here is where we have to attach ETA 9089. If we are abroad, we are going to finish the process once we get the approval through a consulate or embassy, consular processing. If we are in the US, we are going to do what is called an adjustment of status with form I-485, and that's what I call separate filing. Separate filing through adjustment of status is different from concurrent filing. If you're in the US, you could, in theory, do an I-140 and I-485 adjustment of status together, but that's only when the visa bulletin allows. When your priority date is current for your country, you could do that, but right now for EB2, that's not the case in 2023. Because of the backlogs, nobody can do that, unfortunately. So, the new version of the form, ETA-9089, that has come out in May. I actually have a blog post that I will leave a link in the description below where I talked about that even before the change was in effect. But I was waiting to make this video until we have more news from the USCIS side, because the Department of Labor uses this form for that term process that I was talking about earlier. But USCIS really needs us to include it for the NIW. Only certain parts should be filled out. We don't need to send it to the labor, to the Department of Labor. So I was waiting, let's see what they say, and then I'll make the video with all the information. But unfortunately, we're already in August and there's no further information. So this is how the form looks. If you see, it now has an expiration day of 2025. The older version was already expired, and USCIS was still, and the Department of Labor, they were both accepting them. However, this change, usually when they do a change in one of these forms, is a minor change. They update a couple of things, they put a new date, and there we go. However, this is a major update where the form now, the main form is quite reduced, and there are a bunch of appendices. You can see here, this is what they have in the Department of Labor website. So a lot of different parts of the form or appendices, and that brings a lot of complexity because it's not as easy as, okay, I'm going to use the new version, it's just pretty much the same but with a new expiration date. No, there's a lot of changes, so that leaves people really very confused about this whole thing. So what should you do? Should you use this new version that I'm showing here that you can find in the Department of Labor website, or should you still stick to the old version? I always go by USCIS information. I said that in many videos. I recommend that you even check USCIS before my own website, and I say that not in a fake way. I really mean it. You should do that because you will always find the more reliable information there. And then use other websites like mine as a complement to that. The USCIS website, in what it has to do with ETA-9089, has not been updated yet and still links to the older expired version of the form, okay? And here is the screenshot. So you can use, you can go to this particular URL that I'll leave below in the description, and you can take a look by yourself and see how they're still linking to that website where you can download the old version of the form, and they tell you you need to fill out parts J, K, L, and M. That's what we have been saying. That's what you can see in my older videos, in my online course, etc. In my course, I will show you how to do it in detail. You could also use ETA-750. I think that's going to be phased out soon, but that's still showing up there. So my recommendation is that you still use this older version of ETA-9089 until USCIS issues guidance, until they remove this statement from here, until they remove it from the policy manual and has new information talking about the new form and the appendices to that form. You have already seen how the form is now very different with a lot of appendices. So other points of views, because I'm giving you mine, but you should hear from everyone. The American Immigration Lawyer Association has an internal note that I had access to where they confirm, and by the way, I'm not a lawyer, as you know, but I did have access to this internal note, and it confirms, I'm showing it here, that USCIS has told attorneys that they can use the new version of ETA-9089. USCIS has also said that they are working on updating the policy manual. That's important because without that update, they will probably not update the website. So I still think that until USCIS updates their manual and the website, you should use the old version of this form, especially considering the complexity of the new form, the changes that have happened. And I'm going to tell you in the next slide what are those changes in more detail. So what can I anticipate that we will need to do with the new form? Like I said, my opinion is you should use the old one, but what will we need to fill out in this form? What appendix? What part? We'll have to wait and see, okay? I will publish a new video when that happens, but for now I can tell you, you will need the main form, ETA-9089. Probably part C will need to be filled out because that's where we put agent information with our own information as self-petitioners. And then part D, to select that, Appendix A is being attached. Why? Because Appendix A is relevant for NIW. It's very similar to what we were filling out in the older version. Details about our education, training, previous job history. Those things that we were doing until now, is very likely that they will want us to do also now, and that's done through Appendix A. And then there's another appendix that is called Final Determination, and this is specific to National Interest Waiver applicants. So this will be a must. I can tell you that right now. It is mostly a form to provide a signature more than anything, okay? Because since the Department of Labor is not doing anything with our form, we are sending it directly to USCIS, we need to sign it, and that's the place where we provide our signature, which is, as you know, essential in all these forms, including I-140, I-485, and this one, okay? So I hope this was informative. I hope this solves the question that a lot of people have. I gave you the facts. I gave you my opinion on the matter. It's not legal opinion. It's not immigration advice. You should consult with a lawyer if you want. But as I say always, go to the official USCIS website, go to the official source, and pay attention to what they say and follow that always, always, always. If you do that, you're going to be fine. If you don't, then you may get in trouble. So my opinion here is stick to the old version until they issue new guidance, and then move to the new one, okay? So one last note, again, if you are very interested and very serious about NIW, please consider subscribing to my course, enrolling to my course in EB2NIW.info, or if you speak Spanish, EB2NIW The course is bilingual, so I have recorded all the lectures in both English and Spanish. No matter if you join through this website or the Spanish website, you will get access to both languages, and you will see all the steps required to understand the requirements, to know how to fulfill those requirements, how to build your recommendation letters, your case, your endeavor statement, your professional plan. Basically, everything you need to know, I'll show you in that course so you can succeed at EB2 NIW. If you are interested in EB1A, on the other hand, go to EB1greencard.info and you'll get equivalent information there for that other green card category with less backlogs, but higher standards, so more difficult to obtain as well. With that being said, I thank you for your time. I will see you in the next video, and good luck in your green card journey.